What's up YouTube, Capital G here, checking out some absolutely magnificent cards that have just been revealed. These are coming out of the structure deck Our Undead World. As the name suggests, the structure deck is all about zombies, and I have some really good news. If you're one of those players out there who really like zombie archetypes, which there really aren't that many now that I think about it, but if you were really let down by Vendreads and you're thinking that they were going to be a really good ritual archetype and you're like, Cap, this deck ended up sucking, this support looks so much better than Vendreads. And I guess zombies have been kind of underappreciated historically. When I think about zombies, I probably, as of recent, like the last 5 years, I really only think about like 3 or 4 cards. Mizuki, which is as old as dirt, but the card is still really, really good. Unizombie, and then Psyframe Lord Omega. Ironically, I always say that every zombie deck ends up being Omega, not deck, but this is definitely going to expand the options of zombies. And what I really like is they're going to make an old school card that zombies should have been playing for a long time. They're going to make it so much more relevant than it was in the past, and I think that it's definitely going to help them a lot. So we got 3 cards to talk about. We do not know the effect of the official boss monster of this structure deck. We know that it is actually a synchro monster, which is kind of cool. Zombies have tons of tuners. We do know of one of the boss monsters in this structure deck. It's an ultra rare, and 3 cards in total to discuss. I think all of them are actually quite good. Let's go ahead and break down the first one. This is Droshile, the Spirit King. I probably butchered that name. It's probably German or something like that. Actually, I think it might have the 2 little dot things over the U that they do in German. I don't know what those dot things are for. Maybe the dot things aren't even there, but I probably mispronounced it. Just forgive me. Level 8 Dark Zombie, 2000 defense, and 2800 attack. How many good level 8 zombies are there? Because if there's a lot, maybe you could run trade-in in this deck, because this guy works from the graveyard, as a lot of good zombie monsters do. Let's see. The second effect is the hard once per turn. The first effect says, when the effect of a zombie monster not named Droshile, the Spirit King, is activated. This is a quick effect, which in my opinion completely makes this card. The fact that you can use it during your opponent's turn. You can choose and apply one of these effects, but your Droshile, the Spirit King your Droshile, the Spirit King's effects cannot apply the chosen effect for the rest of the turn. So basically you can't use the same effect twice. That's essentially what they're saying here. You can use both effects, but you can only use each effect once. Either you can negate that effect, or you can banish one monster from either player's graveyard. So at first I looked at this effect and I was like, well, those effects are pretty good. But then I was like, wait a minute. So if my opponent is playing Trick Stars and I'm playing zombies, like, why the fuck would I want to negate my own stuff? And then I just thought, well, wait, if I just play Zombie World, I can make all of their monsters zombies, and then anytime they summon or they activate a monster effect on field, I could essentially just effect veiler it. I get a Fiendish Chain, basically. Like, let's just say Zombie World is on the field. I have Droshile on the field. My opponent summons a copy of Candina. I just activate my effect and I negate the Candina. Also having a DD Crow, which is a quick effect, that can be really useful as well. Most decks want their graveyards intact because of things like Trickstar Reincarnation and Goki Rematch, etc., etc. Getting their stuff banished every single turn, most people aren't going to be happy about that. I love the fact that this card can activate both of those effects in a turn. So you're talking about an effect veiler and a DD Crow built into a monster. Second effect, during the standby phase, if a face-up card is in the field zone, this is where I talk about the whole Zombie World element, you can special summon this card from your graveyard in defense position. Not only is this amazing, and something that they need to build into more monsters that just summon themselves back, because I feel like that was kind of the original intent of zombie monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! But this is either player's standby phase. That is the most important thing to know about this card. So as long as you keep your Zombie World or whatever other random field spell you want to play, I'm guessing mainly it's going to be Zombie World. This card is fantastic for link fodder. You can use it for viruses. Hell, if it just happens to die, if your opponent tributes it or your opponent attacks over it because it's in defense position, it's no sweat off your chest. You're just going to summon it back anyways, and it's going to be able to have that negate effect and that DD Crow effect every single turn that it's on the field. So far their boss monster is amazing, and again, you can trade it in and just summon it back from the graveyard during your opponent's standby phase. The next card is Otherworldly Banshee. This is a level 4 dart zombie effect monster, 1800 attack, which is really good for a zombie monster. Okay, so it's like zombie master, 200 defense. I was a little jarred by that. Usually these zombies randomly have like 0 defense, but I guess Konami is kicking that habit. Anyways, the second effect is the hard once per turn. First effect first effect says zombie worlds in the field zone cannot be targeted by or destroyed by card effects. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You guys remember how when I talked about Gravekeeper's Esper and how it had the protection for Necro Valley from card destruction? I was like, that's cool, but why doesn't it protect from targeting? Why doesn't it protect from my opponent's Cosmic Cyclone? They literally built that into this card. Like, why did they build it into this card, but then they didn't build it into Gravekeeper's Esper? Like, this is what you want out of a field spell protector. You don't just want protection from destruction from the cards like Heavy Storm Duster. You want protection from the Cosmic Cyclones, and for any other card, you know, something that can like send. If your opponent has an Ingirisu on the field that doesn't destroy it, just sends a card from your side of the field to the graveyard. You want all, well, no, Ingirisu doesn't target, so forget about that one, but you understand what I'm saying. If somebody's using Castel or something like that, you want protection from as much stuff as possible. The second effect is really cool of this card. It's a quick effect. Again, it is that hard once per turn. It says you can banish this face-up card from your field or graveyard. I love that. Activate Zombie World from your deck or hand. That is a quick effect. That is nuts. You can banish this card from the graveyard and activate Zombie World straight from your deck. That is absolutely lovely. So Zombie World is not just going to be, you're not going to just be able to get it from your, you know, standard terraformings and whatnot, but you can banish this face up and you can banish it from the graveyard. You can also use this during the battle phase. Gotta like that. So I'm thinking she's pretty good as well. And then the final card is basically like a brain control for zombies. It's called Zombie Necronize? Necronize? Is that a real word? I feel like that's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Created word. Maybe it's a real word. Anyways, it's a normal spell card. The first and the second effects are, well, hold on, let me read this. You can only use one effect among the first and the second effects with this card this card's name per turn, and only once that turn. Oh, okay. So basically you have to pick and choose which effect you want to use. You can't use both effects in one turn. The first effect says, if a level 5 or higher zombie monster is on the field, target one monster your opponent controls, take control of that monster until the end phase. So basically, if you have a big zombie monster on board, well, anything really, if you have Zombie World, then even like your Omegas become zombies at that point, you're essentially getting a free brain control. All right, that's pretty good. I don't think that it would have been enough reason to run this card, quite frankly, but the second effect I actually think kind of makes it good enough to kind of warrant running this card. It says if this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle one of your banished zombies into the deck, and if you do, set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. This is something that zombies have kind of wanted for forever. Not really even a brain control, but zombies have wanted ways to recycle their banished zombies for forever. You guys know that zombies have even ran things in the past like Burial from a Different Dimension just to get their Mizukis back, and also like, you know, Vendrids, they have a bunch of cards that like banish. So zombies have always been banishing. Plaguespreader zombie banishes itself. I think that zombies definitely need this, and you're getting your snatch still back to the field. Now, if it is destroyed, then it's going to be banished forever, but during your next turn, well, no, during the turn that you, no, you can't use both effects in one turn. So during the turn that you set this, you will have to like basically wait, but during your next turn, you will get essentially a brain control, and your opponent has to watch what they're doing. I mean, to me, this card is good. I don't think that it's necessary. You probably could just get away with running like one copy of this. Being able to activate this card from the graveyard, never actually having to hard draw it to get it on the field, is excellent. And so far, I feel like they gave us three really solid cards. I'm loving the boss monster. I'm in love with that dude. Two forms of disruption and a monster that can be special summoned from the graveyard during either player's standby phase, as long as I have a field spell on the field. Especially if I have Zombie World, then it becomes absolutely nuts. Like, sign me up for this. So I'm definitely hoping Konami will reveal more cards from this structure deck, but so far it's definitely looking pretty good. And people were, well, no, I watched a video by Lithium, and he was using Beatrice to like send these cards to the graveyard and activate them, since they're, you know, since they're quick effects and whatnot. It actually seemed pretty damn impressive, but keep in mind that obviously things like Unizombie and Gozuki exist, so zombies don't even have to rely on Foolish Burial. Like, they have so many different Foolish Burials for zombies in the game already. They're gonna be perfectly fine if there isn't another way of sending them to the graveyard. graveyard. So you guys let me know what you think of this new zombie support. Leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos. And actually, one last thing, because I know some people are probably thinking, CapG, there's no way we're going to get this structure deck by the end of the year in the TCG. Don't be so sure. This structure deck does come out in September in Japan, and based on Lair of Darkness, you guys know that that came out in March in the OCG, and we got it in the TCG after just a couple of months. So Konami could hypothetically give it to us if they use the same time frame as Lair of Darkness. We could actually see this in like November or maybe even December. Usually Konami does release a structure deck in in January of every year, so maybe they want to squeeze this in November and then 3 months later release another structure deck. It's just wishful thinking, but it is possible.